Step one, get her attention. It sounds obvious. Obviously, you need to get her attention, but a lot of guys mess this up. They go in and they talk in too soft of a tone of voice, and the girl barely knows they're there. Doesn't matter how good your game is if she doesn't hear it. You have to get her attention. Also, get in front of her. Don't open from behind where she has to like turn around and look over her shoulder and make it hard for her to pay attention. She'll do what's easy. If it's hard to pay attention to you, she will not do so. Secondly, your tonality matters. If you have an upward slanting, questioning tonality, that's very weak and will not command attention. So if you introduce yourself, "Hi, I'm Todd," like a question mark at the end, that's not gonna work. By the way, also don't use my name when introducing yourself because that's fucking weird. But also, you need to have that downward strong tonality like an exclamation point instead of the question mark. So, "Hi, I'm Todd." Very definite, very strong, very firm. Because people respond to that which is value or a threat. High value people have a commanding tonality. People have a commanding tonality when issuing warnings, so that will get attention. Once you have her attention, it's important that you keep it. So you must be willing to continue talking, assume the burden of the conversation, put the load on your shoulders and carry it for about 20 seconds or so as necessary. Now, if you go introduce yourself, she's like, "Oh my God, hey, great to meet you." Obviously, you can let her carry the conversation, but a lot of times she's not ready to talk to you yet, so you need to be willing and able to keep talking for at least 20 seconds. Now, next we're gonna talk about exactly what you say in those 20 seconds. Step two, establish a frame. Now, what is a frame? A frame is a perspective, a point of view, a way of looking at the world. So some good frames would be, "I'm a cool person, you're a cool person, let's get to know each other." Or, "I think you're cool, but I wanna find out more about you because I'm very selective." A bad frame would be, "Hi, I don't mean to interrupt you, I don't wanna bother you, could you please spare a second for me?" That's like the homeless guy frame. And sadly, that's the frame a lot of guys come in with. Or a lot of guys, they'll come in and they kind of are just all over the place. They just talk about some random, weird, off-the-wall topics and just keep running their mouth. Because they've been taught, just self-amuse, just self-amuse. Well, self-amusement has some merit because at least you're not being super reactive and at least you are offering something interesting to the conversation. So it has that going for it, but it doesn't take the conversation in any direction. So you're just hoping that she naturally takes it in a direction, or you're hoping to find some commonality instead of making it happen intentionally. By establishing a frame, you're setting the conversation along the right path, okay? And if you set the frame and she takes that frame, if you're setting a good frame, you're well along the path to a really good interaction. So if you set the frame of "I'm cool, you're cool, we should find out if we're cool together," and she accepts that frame, you're automatically in a man-to-woman conversation, you're automatically in a let's explore and have fun together type of interaction, and that's very close already to things going very well, escalating, even being a venue changer, a pull very, very quickly, even off of the open. Step three, maintain your frame. Once you've established a strong frame, it's very likely you'll come under some level of resistance. This is because that frame likely contradicts the frame the girl already had, or it's a frame that may lead to having sex with her. So a lot of times she's gonna contradict your frame, and she does this by giving you shit tests. It's now your job to pass the shit tests. And ideally, you need to not only pass them, but give her some shit tests back. If you're constantly on the defensive, she's gonna keep throwing them at you. But if you flip them around and put her on the defensive, then you're in really good shape. So now that you've established a frame and maintained it, you've reached what is traditionally called the hook point. The girl now wants you to stay more than she wants you to leave, and she's even quite likely willing to do work to keep you there. Now you have a lot of leverage in the set. So that brings us to step four, which is escalate something. Now by escalate something, I do not mean physically necessarily. It's a possibility, but that's actually the least likely possibility. More likely what you're gonna do is escalate emotionally by beginning to qualify the girl, beginning to actually get to know her and find out from a positive, powerful frame whether you and she get along. The other way that you can escalate is logistically. It's a great time, once you've established a little qualification, to actually venue change, take the girl for coffee, take the girl for a drink, take a girl to another part of the bar, that sort of a thing. Now that you have leverage, it's important that you use it. It's important, once you're in control, that you take it in a positive direction. So that's it, the first 60 seconds, my 4 steps, exactly what to do at each point along the way, so you're not wishy-washy, you're not just hoping for a result, you're making it happen on purpose. Use those steps, they're gonna help your game tremendously.